Hello, and welcome to another episode of Untraditionally Traditional, a podcast with me, Brittany Duncan, a millennial homemaker. Join me each week as I share all the things I've learned that make keeping your home, garden, and life running smoothly, all while working. If you are enjoying the podcast, please be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcasting app so you get the episodes downloaded straight to you every Monday. Now, on to today's episode. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Untraditionally Traditional, a millennial homemaker. This is your host, Brittany Duncan, and today we're going to talk about holidays and how to not get swept into the overdoing of the Christmas holiday, since this is the first episode in December and we are rapidly approaching the holiday season. But before we dive into that, I want to share 3 things I'm loving right now, starting with electric bug rackets. You know the ones, they look like a tennis racket, but with the flick of a button become electrified. First, let me say, 99% of the time, I am a bug rescuer. Houseflies are an exception mainly because I can't catch them. They're too fast. And apparently, also in the list of exceptions are poisonous bugs. Now, y'all are probably thinking to yourself, poisonous bugs? I thought she lived in Idaho. Yes, friends, I do. And recently, while Johnson was out of town, I swear, it's always when your husband's away, I found myself face to face with the biggest black widow spider I have ever seen in my life. In my laundry room. It was not outside, it was in the house. After almost having a heart attack, I went and got my usual supplies to rescue a bug, a thick piece of paper and a glass. And I attempted to move our friend to a more suitable location outside. Very quickly realized that this sucker was fast and jumpy and scary, and that I was going to get bit trying to do a good thing. So I resorted to what was going to be the quickest and safest way for me to move the Black Widow into bug heaven, which was the electric racket. Quick shock, that was it. Large, scary, poisonous spider subdued, one pregnant lady left unbit, and feeling rather proud of herself for dealing with the situation that would normally fall into the category of what I consider boy jobs. Listen, all for equal opportunity until it comes to dealing with gross nasties around the house. It's an unspoken contract of marriages, in my opinion, that husbands are on call for that kind of thing. So if you need a gift idea for the man of the house, or ladies, if you're concerned that you might find yourself in a similar situation like I was in and you want to be able to handle it, highly recommend. Number 2 is a method of organizing magazines that I just did in our home. So I took all of our magazines and I combined them, and then I organized them by month instead of by year or publication. The idea here is that I can grab a section, a month really, say November, and I can read all the magazines I have that focus on that month's content. Some are decor focus, others are cooking magazines, and I found recently I did this, that it's a really easy way to be inspired with something you already have in your house. I keep my old magazines, and so this November I found myself making recipes from 2022 publications, and I was inspired by decor ideas of years past. A lot of the things in these magazines are timeless, so it's fun to reread older versions, and this just makes it a lot easier in terms of having them organized that way so that you do reuse them. Lastly, my 3rd thing is the Thorn Complete Biotic. In pregnancy, I have developed what's called perioral dermatitis. Essentially, it's a rash on my face, around my mouth. Needless to say, not ideal. And it turns out it's pretty hard to treat because a lot of the treatments that doctors would normally use are not safe during pregnancy. So they prescribed me the specific antibiotic and the topical cream, but I was told that this treatment could take anywhere from 1 to 3 months. Naturally, being the gut health nerd that I am, I was worried about what taking an antibiotic for that length of time would do to my gut. So I started this Thorn Complete Biotic right as I started the antibiotic, and it's to really help with GI symptoms. And in fact, I'll say that my stomach has been happier than it was previously before starting the antibiotic. If you have been or are pregnant, you know all the weird GI stuff that happens during pregnancy. This complete biotic is a prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic, all in this dissolvable powder. It's like a teaspoon. You dump it on your tongue like Pop Rocks. It doesn't fizz. Don't get too excited. It's orange flavored, but it's delicious and really easy to take. And I have found that it is working wonders. So consider that if you are looking for a kind of all-around probiotic supplement. Okay, on to the main topic of the day, holiday madness. For the sake of this episode, here's my little disclaimer. I'm going to refer to and reference Christmas because that's the holiday that my family celebrates, but please insert a holiday of your choosing when evaluating what I'm saying. I'm going to come out and say it, and that's that I have a love-hate relationship with Christmas. I love the spirit, the joyfulness that the season brings, the decorations, the cookies, the cheer. I hate the pressure, mostly the financial pressures that come with it. And I don't think I'm alone in that sentiment. I did a little research to see what the top reasons for holiday overspending are, and they were emotional spending, accommodating feelings of nostalgia and joy, but also guilt and stress, all of which are triggers for impulse buying. 2, social pressure and comparison. This, I feel like, is especially true right now. If you are getting on Instagram, it is just shoved in your face every 2 seconds. The 3rd is sales, fear of missing out. We are just after Thanksgiving, so we have been through Thanksgiving sales, Black Friday sales, Small Business Saturday sales, Cyber Monday sales. Tomorrow is Giving Tuesday. It's which is a good one. I'm not hating on Giving Tuesday, but we just had a week of sales emails to sort through. Guilt or obligation spending, again, an emotional trigger. 5 is that traditions have gotten bigger. Stocking stuffers, hosting family, doing family matching pajama sets, all these things that are really cute, but that add up, which leads me to 6, which is underestimating small purchases. The one more thing, even if small, adds up. Stocking stuffers, gift wrap, cute little cards, all of these things are easy to underestimate. 7, travel, holiday parties, Secret Santa, White Elephant, school, work events, basically like the unplanned and unbudgeted things that you end up spending money on. 8, lack of planning, failing to establish a budget before starting to shop. 9, the credit card cushion. And 10, trying to create the perfect holiday. So when I look at this list, truthfully, I'm not surprised. And then I see the good intention in almost every one of these. We want to give those we care about what we think they deserve. We want to make an impact on our loved ones through the holiday. We want to provide, whether that's providing food, providing gifts, providing fun activities, and hopefully making memories in the process. The good news is that most often, memories don't come from items. In fact, I saw this Instagram reel series where moms have been asking their children what they got for Christmas last year. And like every one of these videos I've seen, and I've seen quite a few now, it's like pause, blank stare, sheepish, I don't know. Or they list one item, and then if the mom's like, what else? Again, pause, I don't know. Then the moms, like right after that, ask, what's a trip that we took last year? And like without skipping a beat, every child, thanks for a second, smiles and says where they've been, whether it was, we went to Florida, we went camping, we went to visit grandma and grandpa, whatever the theme is. I mean, all of these videos are the same. I've probably seen over 10 at this point. The consistency is that kids don't remember the material items that they were given just 330 days ago, but they do remember trips, memories, quality time. I personally don't have kids to test this on yet. I've just got one in the oven, and he's not talking much at this point. But I'd be interested, for those of you that have kids, maybe try this, see what they say. You might be surprised with what they do or don't remember. All that to say, I'm not saying skip gift giving of any physical variety and make memories instead. I mean, that's wonderful, but I'm not sure that all
parents are going to go for that. There is something really satisfying about watching your kids rip off wrapping paper. I get it. I was a kid once too. I remember that feeling of having a gift under the tree and being able to open it. But I think maybe we think of gifts that could have memories associated with them. So, for example, games that can be played as a family. Just recently, my mom hosted Thanksgiving, and in addition to having a whole slew of games put together with like household or inexpensive items like pom-poms, candy canes, ping pong balls, she had Uno. And we sat around after our Thanksgiving meal and we closed the night in with a few rounds of Uno. And I can tell you, memories were made. It was really relaxing. Adults and children alike enjoyed it. It was like brought us on a common playing field. It was just really great. A few years ago, I gave Johnson backgammon and we play all the time. I love it. We've given Johnson's mom puzzles for the cabin in past years, and every winter we have a puzzle going and we work on it together. At different stages. Carmen will be working on it and I'll come sit by her and we'll work on it. Or Johnson and I will take a turn together, and it just is this thing that we continually, pick at together, and it's fun. Even things like a bike or a ski pass, they're gateways to memories. So it can be a physical item, but, something that like they're going to do with you or do with their siblings or do with their friends that are going to create memories as opposed to like something that's maybe, more independent that they are, going to play with by themselves or that kind of has a time limit on it. So the emotions of gift buying, that was a lot of things on the list were tied to like an emotional draw. I have a rule when it comes to buying clothes. I've talked about it on the show before, but I learned it from my mom, and it's if you don't love it, don't buy it. And I think it can be tweaked. So each time you think of buying something, ask yourself, why am I buying this item for blank? Insert name of the person. If the answer isn't because they will love it, reevaluate. Incorrect answers include, but are not limited to, because I need to get them one more thing to be even with the others, because it's a good deal, because I need to get them something, because they always get me something, because it has free shipping, because it's cheap, because it's expensive and they deserve something expensive. If they are not going to love it, like if you didn't see that thing and light up and go, oh my gosh, my sister-in-law would love this. If you're not excited about it and it's just checking a box, consider reevaluating. So that filter might help you to find that. So a correct answer may be because they need it. Sometimes the things that we get as gifts aren't like the most exciting things, but they are things that we need. A fellow homemaker and podcaster and someone I find inspiration from is Shay Elliott. And her rule for buying gifts for her husband and children is that they each get 4 gifts. They get something they want, something they need, something to wear, and something to read. And I like this for a lot of reasons. Mainly, it sets a limit and has a lot of practicality to it. Christmas has gotten out of hand. It really has. My granny, she was raised during the war. Money was tight is an understatement. Her and her brother each got one gift. And typically that gift was something their mom made for them. A new outfit for my granny's doll made from a torn shirt that my great-grandmother, repurposed the fabric of for her. One year it was an orange, and to this day, she has the wrapper from that orange saved in our family Bible because it meant so much to her. If you're wondering about an orange, citrus was really hard to come by during the war, so that was the story behind that. But this was not that long ago, folks. So, I've seen commercials for softwares that recommend gifts for others that you don't know what to buy for. Or like you scroll it yourself to give yourself ideas of what to tell your loved ones that they can get you. And honestly, it's like sickening in my opinion. If you can't think of what to get that person or you don't know what to tell people to get you, there's a really very real chance that like you don't need the thing, they don't need the thing, and that we're just buying stuff because we're told that we should. It's not going to be remembered 365 days from now, and that's harsh, but it's true. And so it's really easy to forget when every store and commercial and email and Instagram reel is screaming at you to buy. So here are some inexpensive items that are never going to fall flat, in my opinion. Quality time. It's the one thing we can't buy. But if you're like looking for something that you can actually gift the person that is in this category, think concert tickets, sport tickets, a class that you can take together, or a simple pick a night next month. I'd love to have you and X over for dinner at our place. 2, homemade goods. Personally, if someone takes the time to make me something, that's huge. I love a homemade gift. I think we've gotten away from it. It's, I think, if you're talented and say you're a really good baker, or you make soap, or you are crafty, or whatever your thing is, I think a lot of times we feel like, oh, I'm being cheap giving a homemade gift. Not at all. The skills that go into that, and the, just like personal touch behind it and thought is so much more touching to me than, I went on Amazon and ordered something off the top 10 list. 3 is acts of service. Maybe, look at your people that you're trying to buy for, and think about what they need help with. Hey, I know you've been saying you want to paint the kitchen cabinets for ages. I'm at your service. Pick a weekend in the next 3 months and let's do it. And then follow up with them to actually make sure it gets put on the calendar. I think we all have received, acts of services over the years, but then we don't follow up with the people. And generally it's like if someone's giving you that, they do want to help you with that thing. And it goes back to quality time. You're painting the kitchen together, the memories are going to be made. I'm almost sure of it. This is the topic that I always kind of struggle with. Every family seems to have 1 or 2 people whose love language is receiving gifts. Maybe if you're lucky, note the sarcasm, it's your whole family. My family is not all of that love language, just as a disclaimer. But I do know that it's difficult when your loved ones, if that's their love language. Here's where you really need to pre-plan and outline what you're going to spend on each individual. Decide early what your budget is before you start buying gifts, or let the holiday spending guilt enter the room. Whatever your reason for buying gifts, you've got to maintain a reasonable budget. Remember, the only people that win when you overspend are the companies selling and overselling to you, and maybe your credit card company. If you find the credit card is hard to control during the holiday season, they make it really easy to swipe and tap now. No shame. Go to the bank, withdraw your allotted budget amount, put it in envelopes for each person you're shopping for, and then when it's out, it's out. No more. Again, try to think of gifts that are reasonable and impactful, something they could really use or would really love, not just things to wrap to get to a certain number of presents under the tree. Even if their love language is receiving gifts, there's got to be a way to rein in some of the overindulgence of this holiday that leaves you, the gift giver, not feeling terrible when your holiday or your January credit card statement comes and you are like, oh my God, what did I do? I feel a little bit like Scrooge with this episode. So to end on a more positive note, I invite you to think back on your favorite holiday memories. For me, a few that come to mind right off the top are holiday baking with my mom, wearing my Christmas dress as a little girl and feeling so fancy, going out into the woods every year to cut down a tree. This year, I really put Johnson through his paces. We crossed a small creek to source our perfect little Charlie Brown tree. But I love it. It's those memories. Sitting by the fire after gift opening and just enjoying each other's company. This is what the season is about. And also, if you're a believer, remember the real reason for the season, Jesus. I find when I strip away all of the extra, the podcast ads, the Instagram reels, selling the items, the pressures and stress, when I think about the birth of Jesus and what it meant for our world, my world, the lessons that we've been taught and that are in the Bible, it's easier to put things in perspective. So, that can always be helpful in this season when you're trying to figure it all out. And with that, happy holiday shopping, everyone. Planning, may it bring you joy instead of stress. We'll be back here next Monday with another episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Untraditionally Traditional. If you enjoy the podcast, please share it with those special people who would love it too, and write a review. For more tips and photos of my home and garden, follow Untraditionally Traditional Pod on Instagram. Until next week, let's continue to make our homes places of joy and service to ourselves and those we share them with.